Hey guys, like she said, I'm Michael Keel, not Guy Keel. Anyways, by a show of hands, who here owns a boat? Okay, nobody. Who here has a close friend or family member that owns a boat? Okay. The rest of you guys got to find some better friends, okay? So what you might not realize is how hard and expensive it is to own and maintain a boat, okay? So I grew up boating with my parents, always loved being out on the water. Several years ago, I purchased my first boat, put it in Lake of the Ozarks, and immediately found it very difficult to keep the boat on the water. It seemed like there was always something that needed to be fixed or upgraded or repaired or something like that. Notice three specific problems. Number one, boats are notorious for being a money pit, always in need of something being fixed or upgraded. Boaters even joke that BOAT stands for break out another $1,000, as in like another $1,000 every time you have your boat looked at. Number two, trusted marine businesses are hard to find and not easy to hire. So kind of similar to home contractors. If you ever try to hire a home contractor, there's no real good resources out there for boaters. There's no Angie's List, there's no Thumbtack, there's no Home Advisor or anything like that. You're literally relying on your dock neighbors to provide you with a referral, and then you're supposed to go hunt down this person's contact information online and pray that he answers the phone when you call him. And sometimes it takes 10 times to call on the guy to get him to pick up, right? And then number three, these same marine businesses have limited resources for advertising, sending quotes, and receiving payment. So these guys advertise by literally taking a picture of their business card and posting it to Facebook. To get an invoice from these guys, you are literally like a month after the job's complete saying, hey man, I need to pay you, please send me an invoice. You get an invoice in the mail a month later. They want you to send a check. It's a couple-month process, just really some big problems here in the industry. So I figured I probably wasn't the only boat owner out there experiencing these problems, right? So I actually decided to create a Facebook group with a single purpose, and that was to bring people together who love boating at Lake of the Ozarks. I basically started by just inviting a couple of my boating friends, and then before long, a few hundred boaters had joined the group. So what you might not realize about Facebook groups is they've got this potential for exponential growth. So basically, in a Facebook group, every group member has the ability to invite their friends of the group, which contributes to the group growing very quickly. So within the first year, we were able to take this group from a couple hundred members up to 25,000 boat owners, marine businesses, and local experts in the community. As you can see here, these are some stats from like the summer of 2020. Probably right around when we got that around 25,000 boaters. Really engaged group, 4,000 posts that summer, 75,000 comments, and 470,000 reactions. So very engaged group we had going on. And after a while, we noticed a pattern that emerged. So several times a day, I noticed boat owners asking for business referrals. This could be, hey, I'm looking for a boat mechanic. I'm looking for somebody to install a boat stereo. I'm looking for, a new boat dock to be installed or a new lift for my boat, something like that. We also noticed that marine businesses were reaching out to us, like me as the group creator and then my moderators, asking to advertise in the group, right? And this provided an alternative to where these guys typically advertise. So typically these guys are advertising in more your traditional media, so your local magazines, your radio ads, billboards, things like that. So it provided a nice alternative for them. And basically, after seeing those two things, we kind of had a eureka moment. We were like, okay, we now have validation that there's a problem that exists in this industry. We can obviously try to solve this problem. And it was something I was passionate about and wanted to do. So at that point, that's when Boat Planet was born. So we created a web platform in the beginning that allowed boaters to search for the services they need and get connected with top-rated marine businesses in the local area. It also allowed businesses to showcase their work and advertise their services to a larger, more targeted audience. So instead of just throwing a billboard up there and hoping that somebody driving by owns a boat and needs your service, you're actually able to advertise on a platform where people are actively looking for the services that you provide. So basically, I've come up with these 3 tips for success if you're looking to build your own network, whether it's a Facebook group or whether it's an online community on a different platform. First one is to provide massive value. Number 2, be ready to dedicate a significant amount of time to this group, as it takes time to grow these groups and to get them to the point where they are very engaged. And then number 3, be ready to build relationships with your group members. So kind of going into the first one here, providing massive value. This term gets thrown around a lot. Everybody says provide value, right? It's really important here because you're trying to become really that trusted source that everybody goes to, right, when they're looking for something. It's really what helped to grow my group from just a couple hundred members in the beginning to 25,000 within the first year. Now we're at close to 50,000. So just some tips here, be ready to help new members when they first join your group. Answering questions is super important as an admin or as a moderator. You can literally set up these groups to where you have to approve every single question that's asked in it. So you could literally be the first person to answer the question. There might be 10,000 people that want to answer the question, but because you're approving that question, you now have the opportunity to be the first person and kind of be known as that trusted source. Another big thing here, especially in the beginning, don't try to sell your group members. There's plenty of ads on Facebook already. Facebook makes hundreds of millions of dollars off of ads. The last thing people need to see are more ads, so keep it more value-based. Again, you're trying to become that trusted source. What I did in the beginning was provide as much free information as I possibly could. So this could be everything from like sharing tips, tricks, little things that locals might know that others might not, deals, event info, things like that. And again, the goal is to become a group expert. So I took a screenshot here. This is actually of Boat Planet. We put together a destination guide for Lake of the Ozarks, and we've written literally dozens of posts on everything from here's the boating events that are happening all summer long to here's a guide to a girls' weekend at Lake of the Ozarks or a guys' weekend at Lake of the Ozarks or bachelorette party, bachelor party, whatever it may be, right? So all these resources are free. People can digest it. We make referrals and recommendations to what people can do, where they can go, and things like that. So that's just adding a ton of value to that community. Second tip, be ready to dedicate a significant amount of time to your group. So like I said, it takes a lot of time to grow a group. You definitely want to establish rules from the beginning. We were lucky that we started out with a good 10 rules, and we kept them and modified them over time. You want to also set a good example. So don't set a rule that you can't follow yourself, right? Don't say no advertising and then spend all day long advertising in your own group or something like that. So be sure to follow the rules you created. Big thing that I learned once we hit 15,000 members is how important moderators are. So I was basically the only person managing this group until we hit about 15 to 20,000 members. Luckily, I'd recruited a couple of my boating friends to help me with the group when we hit that number, because once we hit 15 to 20,000, the group really got out of control, and if I didn't have help, it literally would have imploded. Just the amount of time it was starting to take to approve messages, make sure people aren't getting in fights on social media, deny certain things that are part of the rules, things like that. And then I guess two other big things here at the bottom. So the admin really should act as a CEO. So focusing more on the big picture, the big initiatives of the group, where you're trying to take the group, the type of people you want in there, things like that, events, ways of growing it. The moderators are really there to kind of handle the smaller details. So if you're looking to grow your own group out there, just know that you as the admin, try to position yourself as more of a CEO that's handling the bigger picture things, and your moderators can kind of handle the day-to-day kind of stuff. So I also included a screenshot here of the rules in our group. Just wanted to point out some ones that I have found to be important and have been helpful over time. Search before you post. This is a big one because we were literally getting the same questions over and over and over again. Like, where's the best place to get breakfast on the water on a Sunday? And it's like, okay, I've seen this question 100 times. It's been answered 100 times. We don't need to see it anymore. Keeping posts on topic. The group's literally called Lake of the Ozarks Boaters. You'd be surprised how many people come in there and ask to sell their car or post about their house. It's like this group is designed for boat owners. Hold on, let me get that going again. There we go. Okay, so that was another big one. Don't be a boat hole. That's what I call a-holes. But basically, people on the water, when you have a boat, you're literally, it's like I don't know if you guys have Jeeps or motorcycles or whatever. It's the same thing. You all wave to each other. You're friendly on the water. There's no reason why the second you get on social media, you're going to be nasty to each other. So we put that rule in place. It's kind of one of the hardest ones to moderate because people are just going to be jerks on social media no matter what you tell them. No naming and shaming, this is a big one. So no naming and shaming of both people or businesses. There's the Yelps out there for a reason. Like you don't need to bash a local restaurant in a Facebook group or another group out there. There's platforms that have spent hundreds of millions of dollars to be designed to let you do that if you want to do that. Another one, no reviews kind of goes along with that. Big one at the bottom, no politics. Like, I can't tell you how much, God, this rule drives me nuts, but we would literally, like, I got death threats. Our group members got death threats, literally over just like a flag with a certain political statement on it or whatever. So we had to make just literally, like, you can't mention somebody's name, you can't mention anything really. And we actually ended up having to set up keywords revolving around politicians' names and certain beliefs and whatever else just to make it to where you literally couldn't even say anything because people would still find ways around it. But Facebook, luckily, has helped with this over the past couple of years, and you can literally set up keywords, and it will deny their post or deny their comment the second they try to use a certain keyword. And that kind of goes into the next part here is don't get in fights with people on social media over politics. Try to build relationships with them instead. So kind of a big thing here was like, instead of us all arguing about politics, let's all try to become, one group and help each other out and things like that. So with me, as far as me building relationships with my group members, I like to get to know them. I'm open to their feedback because they're giving me feedback about the boating industry, about things we can maybe improve with my business or even with my group. That allows us to better meet their needs, and it also helps you discover new problems. So you might not even know a problem exists until you get some feedback from your group members and discover, hey, these are problems that we didn't even think about, but now we know because our group members are telling us about it. Some things I did to help build these relationships were host local meetups and events. So we did everything from like it's called LOTO Boaters for Lake of the Ozarks Boaters, but like an LOTO Boaters meetup, at a local like waterfront restaurant. I adopted like 5 miles of shoreline at Lake of the Ozarks. We helped clean it up every year. Here's a picture of it. I got like dozens of people. I was surprised, but like dozens of people wanted to help us clean up the shoreline. And, they donated their boats and heck, even brought their dogs along and stuff, I guess. And we had a blast. Like just one Saturday morning, we spent a couple hours together just cleaning up the lake, and it felt good. I was able to get a local restaurant to give us 50% off our food and drinks, so we all afterwards were able to get together, have a nice meal, have some drinks, and I even handed out some like Boat Planet hoodies and koozies to these guys as well, so they enjoyed that. And I turned them into brand ambassadors just from doing an event like this. Like I literally have people at Lake of the Ozarks that fly. We got like these Boat Planet flags. They'll put them on their boat and they fly them around. It's like free advertising for us, just because they know that like we're there to support the community, we're there to get their feedback, and we're there to help solve the problems that they're having. And then something else that's come up more recently is I've got a Facebook group of like 50,000 people now that respect me and trust me, and well, there it goes again. I was able actually to turn these people into potential employees down the road. So it's a great pipeline for us to be able to source potential employees down the road when we need to hire. Kind of some reasons why this worked, right? So I started out with pure intentions. We aim to connect people, in that local community, in the boating community, and we're providing valuable information. So kind of just a statement I like to make, but I feel like your startup should be founded on the same ethos, right? Like, go out there to solve a problem, go out there to help people, go out there to provide valuable information. And really that's, in my eyes, one of the best ways to open up opportunities and generate revenue is by gaining that trust and proving your value out there. So this group is now 48,000 members strong. I was able to use this group when I launched Boat Planet to basically bring on 250 plus marine businesses just at Lake of the Ozarks on our platform. So we've got probably 11 or 12,000 marine businesses on our platform nationwide now, but just at Lake of the Ozarks, I've got 250, and a lot of that resulted from this Facebook group. Out of those 250 marine businesses on our platform, 25, probably to 30 of those are paying customers right now that are paying us a monthly marketing fee. So that just kind of shows you that a group like this, a community like this, can help to kind of bring on those first kind of early adopters for your platform. and just kind of says that boating's always been a passion of mine, and hopefully by forming a community and industry you guys love, you too can make a living pursuing your passions. Okay, so kind of want to do something interactive with you guys. If you guys could just take a couple minutes, maybe think about some ideas for a local community. This could be, doesn't have to be local, it could be like really anything you can think of, to bring together people who like to wear flip-flops to work. I don't know, whatever it may be, right? I like to wear flip-flops to work on Fridays. That's probably, my boating problems kind of coming out. But just take a couple minutes to think about those. And if you don't mind, after you come up with an idea, share it with your neighbor. And then we'll kind of go around and see what ideas you guys have come up with. And I'll give you guys some koozies if you want to actually participate and throw out your ideas. You got any ideas yet?
Well, not like to this capacity, but I never thought about starting a Facebook group kind of before starting a business, but it's a really good way to kind of measure to make sure there is interest for the problem you're trying to solve.
And I didn't even mention that, but literally you can survey. I mean, I can survey these guys whenever I want to see what new features they might want or don't want, right?
Definitely.
Even smarter is before you go spend all your time and money on your idea.
Yeah.
Go see if people actually think it's a good idea and think they could use it.
Yeah.
So
That's definitely a whole nother way that I don't think most people even think about using Facebook.
yeah.
So it's another way to leverage the community that you already have, just
Yep.
people who are your friends and family who already want to be maybe early adopters to something, but other people who are in the network who are in that sphere as well.
Yeah.
And also reaching a whole different demographic that's just on Facebook, not on any of the other social media platforms, which typically tends to be older.
Yeah, totally. So this is actually the second group that I've created, or online community that I've created. So I also had, like I said, it doesn't have to be Facebook, right? On LinkedIn, I created a LinkedIn group of, you guys know HubSpot? You ever heard of HubSpot? Okay. So I created like the St. Louis HubSpot user group. I think it's like 200 and something members, not as big as this, but there's like 200 plus members in that group. And we used to host, I used to have an online marketing agency here in St. Louis, and we would host, we had a space probably about as big as this, and we'd bring like 40 to 50 people together, and we'd do a talk on how to use HubSpot to accomplish certain things and give them tips and tricks on it and things like that. So LinkedIn's another option out there for sure. Does anybody have anyone come up with any ideas for a community? Yeah?
Well, I'm Matthew.
Hey, Matt.
I'm Matthew Palmer. I'm in the process of starting a mobile oil change and detailing business. So
Cool.
we'll reach out to the customers and come to their location, whether it's their household or workplace, and maintenance cars. Why waste time going back and forth to places like Valvoline or to a car wash when you can have it all in one? But the community that I would probably be interested in is people who are interested in cars, people who like time management, because with everybody having a busy schedule, that's very important to know that you have a peace of mind.
Yep.
So.
No, for sure. Does anybody have any ideas for Matt in terms of like what he maybe can bring to that group? Or
I have an idea because it's a pain point for me. I always have to take, there's more. So just because it's a pain point for me, I have a Camaro, and I always want to take it specifically like to the Chevy dealer to do it. But if I had somebody who would just come to me to do it, like that would be, so you could even niche down even more, like not just car people, but like classic car people or specialists, and so then you get the enthusiasts. Like it feels a lot like this platform, like boat people, car people, very similar with how we want to maintain.
yeah. I mean, how wide do you go in terms of services? Here, I'll give you a little. Both of you guys for. How wide is your like service network? Or do you plan on it being?
Yeah, I'm still in the ideation process right now, but
Okay.
I plan to, like she was saying, niches are great. Classic cars, high-end vehicles such as Benz's, BMWs, all of that. My focus would really be on people who have a knack for having clean vehicles.
Yeah.
Whether it be car, truck. So that's a wide market in general.
Yeah.
But I still wouldn't be prejudiced to people that have normal cars.
Yeah.
Altimas, Toyotas,
Normal people.
the average working people.
Yeah.
So
I hear you. Okay, well, good idea. Appreciate it. Anybody else have an idea for a community? Could be, yeah, Brandon?
How you doing? I'm Brandon. And basically it would kind of play along with everybody else with the community. It's called Trash Team. And it will be challenging communities to keep their area clean. So what they would do is come to your locations or different locations and just kind of just clean up and just for a better cause. And then they would basically go for donations and things like that for their community and just keep and spread the cause on going like that. So each company, you can have these guys come out to your company, your business, and just clean up. And it can be for diverse communities or people who are looking for work study skills, or people who are traveling in from another country who are just looking for just small ways
Yeah.
to get entrepreneurial ways in. So that's what
I love it. I love it. That's great. I mean, you can just look around the city here and you see there's a lot of things that need to be cleaned up. So,
I would say flip-flops though, we can wear, but
yeah, I don't know. If it's not snowing, I'm a flip-flop guy. So, all right, anybody else? Any other ideas for community? Yeah.
Hi, I'm Chris Ocasio. I'm with Odyssey. We're building a website that's AI powered where you put in your goal and you receive a personalized plan for success. So how we're building community in that space is we're pairing up people that have similar goals with people that are also working on similar goals, so they can connect with people that are somewhere along the line and collaborate, communicate, and get that sense of community.
I mean, you could literally create Facebook groups around that common goal, and you get
Correct.
people from all around, probably the United States and the world. This thing doesn't like me. To participate and be active and things like that. So I'll just leave it on that slide. But yeah, let's keep going around with ideas for sure. What's that? Sorry, I forgot you. I got two of you I got to get, right? There's
I'm
one.
Jeff.
There we go.
I'm actually with one of the sponsors, Square. We just recently hosted, so I won't take credit for it, but if you've heard of Young Biz Kids, so it's just kids who want to be innovators. We hosted them at Square, and I won't take credit, but I think that would be a cool group. It's just kids who have business ideas coming together, maybe doing something similar, like meetup groups, and that group is actually already starting to do that across the U.S., but that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, another great one. I know we kind of chatted about that a couple days ago.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, it's awesome. Oh, God, I keep forgetting to give out the koozies. I have to keep this thing moving so it doesn't go away.
Yeah, we were just having fun with the idea. And it's like the riding lawnmowers. You see the guys go out there and try and start their lawnmower at like 7 o'clock in the morning on Saturday. It don't work.
Yep.
Then you see them at Lowe's about an hour later digging through parts.
Yep.
So it's like somebody knows how to fix that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so maybe a group.
Yeah, like a group of, maybe it's a certain age, right? Or a certain brand.
Yeah.
I mean, there's probably a Facebook group for John Deere Ride and Loan. I'm sure there is, right?
Yeah, there's as many. as
There's
you could
tons
think
of them out there.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys remember, but Super Bowl a couple years back, do you remember the Facebook group's ad? Table Rock Lake just missed it. I was like, man, we were so close. But Table Rock Lake had a Facebook group that got featured during the Super Bowl, which was pretty cool. Which was only, Table Rock's, I don't know, only a couple hours from Lake of the Ozarks. It's kind of crazy how close we could have been to being on the Super Bowl ad. That'd been nuts. But anyways, any other ideas? Yep.
My name is Byron Strong.
Oh.
A little bit overthrow. My name is Byron Strong with 2 Day Special. We're building a platform that's a community conscious platform that allows for, as you look for food every day, to be able to share that same food that you eat with people that are displaced in homeless shelters. So a lot of people that you see that are that are on the street that are homeless, they generally are at a shelter sometimes. It depends, but to be able to have where they are able to have a dignified meal from the same place that you eat every day.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. So what do you think as far as a community, thinking like maybe you get restaurant owners together in a group?
So
that-
we've got about 20 restaurants right now that
Okay.
are participating or ready to working with us on our platform, along with some homeless shelters as well. And so those the same food that's there, that you're able to share those items because they're advertising their specials.
Yeah.
You're able to share those items with the people that are displaced in the shelters.
Gotcha. Even, I'm just thinking like, you've got these commercial kitchens now, right, that just like Uber Eats and all the other meal delivery platforms kind of use. But then you've also got, like I do meal delivery services just to save me time and make it to where I can just heat up a meal in like 2 minutes. I bet a lot of those commercial kitchens, especially like meal delivery, like they probably maybe make too much food sometimes and have some leftover stuff that they could easily donate. So there's probably a couple different communities you could kind of tap into for sure. But good idea, yeah, for sure. Here's a koozie coming at you. All right. Any other ideas for communities out there? No? Okay, how about just like Q&A? Do you guys have any questions about like the community I built or Boat Planet or anything else in general? Maybe any of the rules we set up or in the back?
Yeah,
there? I can see
the
next.
question I have is, obviously within the community itself, you don't want to monetize directly within the community. But as you said, you've been able to somehow transition that into a model that allows you to kind of make a living off of it so you can stay focused. How did you bridge that monetization? How did you position that value to the merchants who are on the platform without scaring away or annoying your community?
Yeah. Actually, I was going to go back to, one sec. I'll kind of show you one of the rules we actually created. It kind of goes along with that whole like search. You guys probably can't read this, but it basically says like, please use the search feature before you post. Boatplanet.com, little plug there, is a great place to find service providers trusted by other boaters. Repetitive questions / posts will not be approved. So we've got that rule, and then like literally at the top, we've got a post that says, yes, please use this, this Facebook group as a resource, but just know there's this also another resource out there for you to be able to use as well. So, I don't want to like act like, oh, you guys can't use this resource anymore, you have to use Boat Planet. We want them using both, but we want them to know that there's two things out there that are available. Like if they can't find what they were looking for in that Facebook group, a lot of times they'll either come directly to boatplanet.com or they'll just do a Google search and they'll most likely find us in the results on Google a lot of times. But that's one of the things that we did. And then also with the marine businesses, so these marine businesses were like, you have a group of 50,000 boaters, right, that are in this local market. I obviously want to advertise to them. So they would actually start reaching out to us. So we weren't even having to go to them to like ask them for money. They were literally like, we want to advertise in your group. We want to advertise on your platform. We see the value you're providing and we want to be a part of it. So that was really helpful in the beginning. And then now, for more of a marketing standpoint, we do everything we can to drive as much business as we can to our customers. So as many boat repair jobs, boat mechanic jobs, dock repair jobs, whatever it may be, we want to send as much of that as we can to them. We can supplement, we have our platform that generates those jobs. We also have Google ads we can use in addition to that to supplement jobs. But then we now also have this Facebook group where we can literally help them get more jobs through this Facebook group as well. So it's literally providing us with 3 different sources of new customers for these marine businesses.
Are you announcing, but you're not advertising through the Facebook group itself. So
Yeah.
how is that's that little gray zone?
We're not saying go, oh, Jesus. We're not saying I don't comment on a post and say, go find this on Boat Planet. We kind of let them naturally kind of work their way around and find it. So, could I go into that group and say, hey, everybody on here should go sign up on Boat Planet today and create an account? I could. I've never done it. Will we do that one day? Probably.
So you're using the group more like an attention flywheel to direct people. If you're ready for a transactional inquiry, here's the app or the site you need to go to.
I mean, You know, it's kind of like it's a marketing or advertising thing, right? Like you want to find little ways of nudging people without just slamming a disruptive ad in their face, right? I mean, nobody likes being hit with disruptive ads, but if you see something at the moment you're looking for something, you know, that's a little bit different. So, you know, down the road, could I hire a bunch of people to literally just comment in here and say, go contact this person through this platform? Like, yeah, totally, we could. But we wanted to start out with this being a much more organic, much more natural, like less of us pushing our product on you experience. Will we push our product on people a little bit more down the road? Probably. But in the beginning, do not do that. You'll push people away in the beginning. Any other questions? Sorry, Wendy, and then you had one too, right? Okay.
Okay. Hello, yeah, my name is Nate Taminger. So I'm Gen Z, right? So I was kind of wondering about like the demographics of your group. So obviously my generation, right? Like we're kind of less on Facebook. I'm probably in the minority of like young people that's really use Facebook. So have you like found that you've been able to reach like a younger audience with the Facebook group? And okay, so I was assuming not. So like, have you done, and like I'm looking to build my own sort of community about like eco-conscious shopping. I'm building a startup called C-Cycle, which is like a net positive marketplace. And we're looking to build a community with it. So like, have you done any sort of research on like what sort of platforms for like younger people, to attract younger people? Have you sort of,
so the boating industry, I'm lucky in the sense that everyone's like a 45 to 65-year-old white male. Like, it just is what it is, right? They're easy to target. I mean, they're super easy to target. Literally, everyone I need to target is on Facebook. Like, everyone I need to target. So that makes it easier on us. Now, you know, boating for the first time, I'm just gonna give up on that. Boating for the first time ever did go through a transition during COVID, actually, where the average age of a boater actually went down for the first time ever. So more younger people were getting into outdoor recreation, outdoor activities, things like that. Younger families are wanting to do more outdoor things with their families. But, you know, in terms of an online community, you know, I don't know. I'm not on the other platform, sorry, but like, can you do communities on like Instagram or LinkedIn? You can. I know that. LinkedIn's a good one. I mean, I did one on LinkedIn and it was successful.
You can do it on Instagram, like if you have your own like channel.
Okay.
Or have a certain amount of following, they have these like new kind of rooms that you go into.
Yeah.
Where like as a creator, I directly communicate to everybody who follows me.
Yeah.
Invite for that. So it's a little bit different because it's based on your actual following. So it makes it a little bit longer to grow.
Okay. And then, well, sorry, go ahead. You got a question?
No, it was just to add on to what he was saying. Instagram just rolled out a new, I guess, subcategory app called Threads. So a lot of people have been on there, and also Reddit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Reddit is where everybody is for communities right now. So
Reddit's there's even a boating one on Reddit. I've seen some stuff on there every once in a while. So yeah, it's a good one. Thanks for that, for sure. Wendy, I know you had something.
Well, I'm glad he went first because I had the monetization question. But my other question was your moderator. So to me, the biggest obstacle on ever doing this is the community management aspect, the time. And so what was your relationship with moderators? How quickly did they bring on? Did you compensate them? Like, how did that work?
Yeah, good question. So I had a couple good like boating friends that wanted to help out, so that was helpful. I also just reached out to the group and said, who would like to help us moderate this group? And people would raise their hand, and you know, I'd have a call with them, or not even really a call, more like a Facebook chat with them, right? Make sure they're real, make sure they're and the cool thing is you can go look at their posts. So I can click on their name and see everything they've posted and be like, are you a troublemaker or not? Are you like actually here to like help us out? So yeah, I mean, I think here's what I've done with them. So I started this group when I was like in between my last company that I just sold and starting Boat Planet, so I had a little more time on my hands. I spent a lot of time in this group during the first like 6 months. After that, I had to like pull myself back a little bit and say, okay, like you're spending too much time on Facebook, literally. Now what I do is I only go on and check on the group 3 times a day. So I'll go in the morning, like kind of when I just wake up. I'll go in there afternoon, like around lunchtime, check on things, make sure nothing crazy is going on. But for the most part, like I've got keywords and stuff. Like if somebody mentions my name or Boat Planet or admin or moderator, like complaining about something, we literally get alerted. So we don't have to like watch over it like at all points in time. We get alerts whenever somebody maybe tries to say something. But people have been pretty good. Like for running this for a couple of years, we really haven't had to deal with too much. I've only had to like ban a couple of people from the group. And then, yeah, I think from a time management standpoint, though, it's important to like set certain times that you're going to go in there. Otherwise, like I could get a notification every couple minutes. Oh, there's a new post. There's a new post. Somebody just commented on this. Somebody commented on that. Like it's gonna be overwhelming.
But they were volunteers, basically.
Sorry, I didn't answer that. Yes, I would. So like I'd give them some Boat Planet swag. We used to do these like little. We call them Boat Planet cards. It was literally like a card where you could put it in your wallet and you get a discount at a local waterfront restaurant and on boat gas and things like that. We'd sell them for like $20-$30. I'd give them those, I give my moderators those for free. Just little things. And I think in the beginning when everybody, like before Facebook did a good job of helping us, like in the beginning, this thing was a disaster and we were literally like in charge of everything. There were no tools. It was literally an open group and people could say and do whatever they wanted. Luckily, Facebook put an end to that and has better tools in place. But there were times I think I like had to buy them like little gifts at one point because I felt bad. But now with the tools Facebook has in place, it's a lot easier to manage. So you shouldn't have to like go pay these guys or anything like that. Yeah. Back then you probably would have.
Okay, question.
Yep.
So since you initially did not start this with having a business, is that correct? So
Facebook group came first, yes.
Facebook group came first, then you had the business.
Yep.
At what point did you introduce the business into the group?
I did. There was a point where we basically thanked the group for like their contributions, their feedback, and put out there that we were onboarding local businesses in the community to be part of Boat Planet.
Yeah.
So I did a post like on a random Thursday night, and it was like, I was watching that like a hawk, trust me. Like I'm like, I am engaged with this. But yeah, I mean, just with that one post, we probably onboarded 100 businesses like in one night.
And so did you guys, since onboard, you're introducing it, now we're monetizing, right? Now we're making money, so it was free, but now there's a money aspect to it, great. Did you receive any negative feedback, like from going in that? Because, I mean, now you have ads where people can pay for that kind of stuff. There is Boat Planet, like even if it's like minimal, it's still there where it wasn't before. Have you ever received any negative feedback?
Yeah, the one thing that we have gotten, it's rare, it's not too common. Some businesses will be like, hey man, I just want to advertise in your Facebook group. I don't give a crap about this Boat Planet stuff. I just want to advertise in the Facebook group, right? And that's where we're like, well, to be able to advertise in this Facebook group, you need to be a Boat Planet partner, right? We need to onboard you. We need to know you're a legit business. We're not going to just start promoting any business in this group that just wants to pay us to be promoted in the group. So we make it as like an added benefit. So we don't charge for it, but it is an added benefit to being a Boat Planet, partner. Is you have the ability to get promotion in that group as well. Without it, you're not allowed to, get promotion for your business, basically.
No, that makes total sense.
Yeah.
And since it's only B2B that people are having issues, not any actual individual customers.
On the consumer standpoint, looking back, that little Boat Planet card we created, was it a quick way to generate 20 or 30 grand? Yeah, it was, I'll be honest. Was it worth the time? No. Yeah. No. I mean, you're literally like, I remember like sitting at the printer, printing off like sheets of paper and stuffing envelopes and what do stamps cost nowadays? I don't know. Like you're spending like with an envelope and manufacturing this card and the time you put into it, there's probably $15 worth of your time and supplies to make 20 or 30, and I'm just like, okay, we're cutting this as soon as possible. So like when we cut that, people actually got a little upset. They were like, man, I love this card, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, you can take it over because we don't want to do it anymore. But it'd be a great little side gig for somebody. And you can you could do that. I mean, if anybody's looking for like a little side gig, go talk to local restaurants and bars and whatever and create a little like discount card for people. I mean, that thing sold like crazy the second we announced it. And it helps bring in, new business to the local businesses too. So,
That's really awesome. Perfect. Thank
how are
you.
we on time? 20 minutes. Okay, cool. Any other questions?
You're the guru, I see. You're the guru. So basically about your alerts, right? So what widget or tool did you use inside of that? Was that Facebook that you were allowed to use keywords to notify, so you didn't have to monitor it so much?
Yep,
What would you use?
yep. So it's just part of like the admin tools.
Okay.
Like I said, this stuff did not exist a couple years ago. There was, like I got invited to be part of this like Facebook communities, like private club. There's like only 1,000 or 2,000 people across like, think the whole world that are part of it. And we all got to provide input on like what works in our communities, what's not working in our communities. And Facebook, surprisingly, actually listened to us. And they started developing all these tools based on our feedback. And we were like, we need the ability to do this, otherwise we're shutting this group down. And Facebook's like, we don't want you to shut down these groups. They need,
Traffic.
yeah, it's creating, it's eyeballs. Like, that's how Facebook makes their money. They keep you, the more they can keep you glued to their platform, the more money they're making. So, but yeah, it is much easier. I don't want to scare you guys. Like, a couple years ago, it was a pain to manage these things. Nowadays, with all the tools in place, it's much easier.
Hello.
Hey.
So with the Facebook page and with Boat Planet, it's very much targeted to Lake of the Ozarks. Do you have plans to scale it beyond just the Lake of the Ozarks?
Yep. So Facebook group, no, I do not want a Facebook group in every boating market or every lake in the United States. Like, that would be impossible to manage. Boat Planet as a whole has scaled nationwide. So we have, I think I last counted, we're adding them every day right now, but we're in like 11 to 12,000. As far as number of businesses on our platform, we have 11 to 12,000 businesses on our platform, continuing to grow that. We'll probably be at 20,000 by the end of this year. We're in every state. We literally have 500,000 plus landing pages on our site for every single market that exists and every single service category you could have done. To give you an idea of how fragmented this industry is, think of it like a house. Like, you have your plumbers, you have your electricians, you have your roofing guys, your tile guys, your carpet guys. Same thing in boating. We literally have 300 different service categories for every single market out there. So there's like boat, car detailing or boat detailing. Like, we have a boat detailing landing page for every single city in the United States and every single boating market in the United States. On the boater side of things, we attract about 50,000 boaters to our website every month. So pretty good traffic, but obviously looking to grow that over time as well. Yeah, Florida's a big market. So, you don't have the seasonality. We've got close to 2,000 marine businesses on our platform just in Florida. Very important market for us. And we're tapped into it pretty well. So, any other questions out there?
I was going to ask, which came first, the validation for, like, when you created the group?
Yep.
Did you have the business idea before that, or was it that kind of valid? You said you created the Facebook group first, right?
Yep.
Did you have the idea already going into it, or did that just validate the business, the idea?
Good question. So I knew I wanted to solve a problem in the boating industry. I didn't have it honed in as much as I did until after we created the Facebook group and saw the problems people were having. We were like, I know we can help on sales. I know we can help on service. I know we can help on repair. You can help. There's so many things you can innovate within this industry. This is a dinosaur industry. So there's so many things you can innovate, but what we saw was, where's the volume at, right? And through that group, you could see, literally, what's the question you see more often than others? And it's, my boat broke, because boats break literally every single time you take them out. You go to start your car starts 99 out of 100 times. You go to start a boat, it starts maybe 1 out of 5 times, if you're lucky. You go to turn your radio on 1 out of 5 times. It's just, water just makes it to where nothing works, I guess. I don't know what the problem is, but yeah, we went after where the volume was really. And then with my background in online marketing, digital marketing, I can literally go into Google and see how many searches there are for certain keywords. And I just did that and went, okay, this is where all the keyword volume is. This is where all the problems are. And that's kind of what we decided to target. So good question, though. Anything else? Yep.
The last question I have is, with most of us already wanting to start a business, where it's kind of like you had an idea about wanting to solve a problem in the boating industry.
Yep.
A lot of us in this room probably have already identified the problem that we're trying to solve. And if we go out and create this group, I think that's awesome. Would you advise us being transparent and saying we are creating this group as a place for community, but also knowing that we are an entrepreneur who's launching a business around this, knowing it's a pain point, but wanted to create a community for people to be able to provide feedback as we develop this company?
Yeah, I think honestly, it's always best to be transparent, I think, just in life in general.
Yeah.
I think that if you're transparent in the beginning and you, again, create value, don't try to sell, right? As long as you spend the majority of your time creating value and not selling, I think you can do whatever you want, honestly. I think you'll know immediately through your members' feedback when you step over that line. But I think even if you do step over the line once, I think you can gain their trust back as well. People are pretty forgiving, especially with little things like that. So, but yeah, I'd say jump in and get started, and you know, like I said, I literally just I was like, let's just invite some boating friends. And I think looking back at it, I think I started this thing, and I'm pretty sure I either got married or went on my honeymoon literally right after, and it started exploding during that time. And I'm like, my wife is gonna kill me if I'm on Facebook during our whole honeymoon, right? And I'm like, so I actually had a buddy of mine who was like an admin / moderator. I forgot what he was in the beginning. He's like, bro, I got you while you're on your honeymoon. Like, I'll take care of the group. And I got back and I was like, dude, we had like double the size of the group by the time I had gotten back. So, I mean, start it sooner than later, honestly. Because, and here's another thing. Don't be scared. Like, if this group already exists, you're like, I got this great idea, and it already exists. There are probably a dozen copycats of my group, literally even with the same name sometimes. Like, don't be afraid to start something that somebody else already has if you think you can provide more value. With mine, for the most part, it was just people getting upset that I declined their posts, and they'd be like, screw this, I'm starting a Lake of the Ozarks Boaters Uncensored, or a Lake of the Ozarks Boaters, like, whatever, right? And it's just ridiculous. People are just being babies. But yeah, don't be afraid if you see something that already exists, for sure, because there's a bunch that are very similar.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You gotta get Boat Planet branded flip-flops.
I know. I'm picky about my flip-flops, though, so. Hari Mari, you guys ever heard of Hari Mari? They make a pretty good one. Anyways, I think they're out of Texas. But, yeah, I don't know. Is that it?
Yes.
Okay. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.